Hey everyone, I'm Leon Chevalier and today I came to Nice to recce the IRONMAN World Champs bike course. There's been a lot of chat about this Nice bike course. It's super different to the one we have in Kona. We've got a lot of hills, we've got some super technical descents. It's a real biker's course, and so it was really important for me to get out early, beat the traffic, beat the heat, and be out on the roads and see what it was like. Light little breakfast. French style obviously, just before we set out on the bike. Swim's pretty flat, so not expecting it to be too eventful. Now there's just a few kilometers to navigate to get out of town until we start the first climb basically. On race day we'll be on the road, it'll be like literally flat and really fast. Potentially a bit of a tailwind too. But I mean everyone's going to be coming out of transition, everyone's going to be fresh, going full gas. So nothing's really going to happen there, except maybe groups forming. And here we hit basically this roundabout and we're going to take this swinging left turn. And we basically hit a first climb and it's actually pretty punchy. And yeah, I think everyone will have the legs to follow on that first climb, unless they've got a very conservative pacing strategy. But otherwise, yeah, this first climb, you know, could be the first, you know, stab in the legs, and people might be feeling it, you know, 100 kilometers later. So we've done the first little lump basically, and it's pretty punchy at the bottom, and then basically just gets rolling, and you're constantly going uphill, but going pretty fast. But it is twisty, it's bumpy. The road surface definitely isn't as smooth as the Queen K, but it's great. It's like proper bike course. The scenery goes by quite fast. Pretty epic because basically you're just on the side of the mountain and got this beautiful old village. Yeah, it's just like ever changing. It's just so contrasting to what you get in Kona. Yeah, so we've just done the 7-ish kilometer descent into the bottom of Col du Loup, which is the main climb of the day. The descent is pretty fast and flowing. Basically, if you touch the brakes, you're just going to lose time. Just take it easy and enjoy the descent before you climb. Yeah, so we're about 50k into the ride, halfway up the main climb of the day. It's steeper towards the bottom and then it levels off, so we've got about 5% grade average so far. But it's really in like 2 sections. I've just come up to the aid station, personally handed some new bottles by the team at Precision Fuel and Hydration. And yeah, on race day it's just going to be a case of grabbing as much water as I can, because that's pretty much all I get from aid stations usually. And yeah, it's going to kick on from here, so yeah, going to have to push a bit more power and hopefully on race day create some gaps. I've made it to the top of the main climb of the day, Col de l'Ec. So fairly early on in the race, probably about 3 hours in on race day, around 9 AM. The top bit of the climb, it is steeper than the bottom bit, but it's also a bit more exposed, and yeah, it's still not that steep. You know, I was doing 21, 22 kilometers an hour. Fueling, I'll probably crack a caffeine gel at the bottom of the climb so that you know, the initial boost, the mental boost I get for the bottom bit, and then the caffeine hit will be about 40 minutes later, so for this last little section of the climb. Obviously grab some water from the aid station, that's about halfway up. Actually, after the aid station, the road goes way flatter, so it's a bit of respite before the final bit of the climb. And now we've got just like rolling terrain, so yeah, the hard work is done, and now we're going to focus for the descents. So we're coming up to halfway now in the town of Andon. We've got the personal needs station and fluids only station right after the village. Halfway through the ride, the hard bit is done. To be honest, you come off the top of Col d'Ec and it's actually not that easy till basically, I think the next climb, something like that, because just on this plateau and it's just some sort of long drag. You think you're going downhill, but you're actually having to push quite a lot of power to not go very fast. I tend to be self-sufficient with gels in my own bottles and everything, so I can just pick up water from aid stations and be a bit quicker throughout the course. But if you do depend on the aid stations, this is going to be a critical part of the course. So we just come down the little cheeky descent after Andon that joins onto the D2 before basically that little out and back to add the 10 kilometers to make 180. It's a few hairpins and 2 tricky corners basically. So we're just going back up in the car so I can do it a second time. Going to do it a third time tomorrow. I mean, it's not very different to usual hairpins, but the 2 faster flowing corners, it's nice to know. The turnaround from the little out and back, doing it in the car because just a bit quicker, gets us out of the heat, and it's not particularly interesting. It'll be definitely a tough part of the course because the way back, you might be able to see, it's pretty much an uphill drag, and depending on which way the wind comes, it could actually be really difficult.
Can I just check as well if you kept your helmet on because you don't trust my driving?
Oh yeah, Brits abroad, dangerous. Yeah, just done the descent from Greulière and gone back up to Coursegoul, so that's actually a pretty technical bit of the course. The descent, stunning views, but you really need to keep your eyes on the road because very tricky corners, pretty fast, and yeah, if you get it wrong, you'll be 600 meters further down. So yeah, and then you get this 9-kilometer climb up to Coursegoul, which on the profile doesn't look like much, but when you're doing it, it's another 9k of steady climbing. You get a bit of shade, and if you're feeling good, you can get into a rhythm and hopefully maybe break up some more groups. This whole course basically is a hard course, and as we were saying, merde can hit the ventilateur anywhere. We're just coming out of Coursegoul, which is basically the pedaling finishing line, because pretty much all downhill from here. We're over 1,000 meters altitude right now, and we're going to go all the way down to T2 at sea level. Apparently it's pretty technical, so it'll be a good opportunity basically here at the top to take on some nutrition, some water and everything, because you won't really be able to on the descent, and also just get the opportunity to digest when you're not really having to pedal too much. Right, it's a final descent done. It's a pretty long one, it's about 30 kilometers, basically straight descending. There's a few bits where you do have to push the pedals, but for sure you shouldn't push them too hard in certain parts because it does get very technical, pretty narrow. Obviously we don't have closed roads today, so you need to be extra careful with cars coming both ways. But on race day, it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully people don't take too many risks. Just make sure that your bike is in working order, all the bolts are tightened, and that your brakes are working. So there you have it. A really productive day here in Nice, checking out the bike course. I feel way more confident this evening after checking out those descents. Big thanks to the guys at Precision Fuel and Hydration for helping me out along the way. Definitely burnt a lot of calories. Off to eat a couple pizzas this evening so I can go again tomorrow.